Welcome, everyone, to the, final-ish episode of the Survivor Winners at War Idle Swordcast podcast cast. As you kind of noticed, we took a bit of a break from them. We decided to, rather than go episode by episode, just kind of take the whole season into review at the very end of it. So we're going to talk about some overall plot points from the season. We're going to talk about the finale, talk about highlights, talk about lowlights, talk about twists, advantages, themes, whatever, plot points. Pretty much we're just going to spitball it for the most part, but we will have, some sort of method to our madness. And at the end, I will reveal the draft point winner as well as the draft point losers. So, without further ado, once again, I am Kyle. I am joined by my co-hosts. I am joined by Chris.
Solomon.
I'm joined by John.
Islands.
I don't like where this is going. I must have missed this meme. And I'm also joined by Zach.
Was rigged.
Yeah!
Dude, I can't believe we made it work.
I was a little worried there when he ended on Zach. But Zach
when you gave Zach
for
the
the
authority
for
there.
the homies.
I got you guys. Don't worry.
Alrighty. Well, Winners at War is over, which is fucking bananas. Like, who... Okay, like, I don't think... I don't know if I can speak for all of us, but, like, going into this season, that had to be one of the most hyped up seasons ever.
Absolutely.
I think so. I was really hyped.
I mean, I remember after 38 ended, we heard, like, people heard about the rumors about Winners at War, and everyone was like, all right, let's just skip through 39, let's just get 40, and then 39 was going. We're like, okay, can we please skip 39? Please.
No, I remember when I first went to college, it was David vs. Goliath, and I watched the first 2 episodes, but I wasn't logged in on CBS.com on my laptop. So basically, the only way I could watch Survivor was I had to be in the lobby of my dorm at a certain hour. And so I basically just stopped watching Survivor because that was like kind of a commitment. But then like when Winners at War was announced, I'm like, okay, like I gotta watch this.
Yeah.
I've started with Samoa. So I've been through 4 like full All-Star seasons. The first one was Heroes vs. Villains. I didn't know anybody on the cast. So that didn't really resonate with me. And then I had Cambodia, which I just wasn't really stoked about the cast in general, like going in. I didn't think the cast really stood out as groundbreaking or anything. And then Game Changers I was actually really excited about, but then Game Changers just sucked.
Right.
So
Yeah.
Winners at War is definitely probably the most hype I've done going into an All-Star season, and I think it delivered mostly.
Yeah. I think it delivered on a lot of things. It fell short with some, but we can get into that. Which is on the first thing. So we can. What would you guys say? Like pretty good season for the most part. I think they were hyping it up quite a bit. That I remember Jeff was like, "Oh, it's the best season since Heroes versus Villains." No. I don't know if I agree with that, but.
Well, he said best ever. Like
Yeah,
he started,
he
started the finale going, fans and everyone and, my grocery lady and my mom and everyone is telling me this is the best ever. And crazy thing is, I agree with them. And it's like, yeah, I don't know if I would necessarily agree with that, but we can talk about where we think it lands.
Notice how every time the person that Jeff wants to win ends up winning, he calls it one of the greatest seasons ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think it was. I think it's very upper middle tier. I'd put it somewhere in like the I don't have like an official ranking or anything, but I would put it somewhere in like the 15 to 20 range. I feel like feels appropriate for my opinion.
I would put it somewhere in the 20s, I think.
It's certainly
that might be a bit of an unpopular opinion, but that's how I feel.
Yeah, well, we can get into that. I think when it I'm just going to pull up the brand still real quick so I can look at all the winners and just have their faces fresh in my head. Obviously, the cast was solid. I think there was a couple I wish we could have had over some of the other ones.
Mike.
Guy
was Mike returned.
I think...
Brian Heidick.
Oh, God.
He's never going to come back, though, unfortunately.
The thing is, because a lot of these players, like, what the part of the big story was like the fact that it's like a long time coming comeback, like 10 plus years, and then you had like people like Nick or Wendell who are like, yeah, we played like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So they didn't really get as much of a good story, I guess.
Mhm.
Like, did you guys watch the Ponderosa episode, the hour-long one?
I did
have
not watch
not
it.
gotten to it.
Okay.
No.
So when I watched it, it was like all like the older winners, like the Marianos, Parvati, and everything, and
Marianos.
yeah, Ethan. They're all like Survivor and Yule. They're like, Survivor's given me so much, and blah blah blah, and like over all these years, and like Nick is like, I'm hungry. But it was good. It was a highly entertaining Ponderosa. I recommend it.
He had good cast members there, so you can't
For
go
sure.
wrong with
And
Rob, Tyson, and Parvati and all them.
I remember when I was watching the Ponderosa, like it kind of like reminded me like this is the kind of Survivor season that I like. One where like obviously the gameplay is pretty good, but it's just like they're all friendly. You know, like they all like mix really well, which I think is really important. I hate seasons that like everyone just hates each other because it's just not fun to watch.
This was the anti All Stars.
For sure.
Yeah.
Anti All Stars for sure. So one thing I want to point out when it comes to the boot list, a lot of people like even like Probst in the whole recap thing was saying like, the new schoolers taught the old schoolers a lesson. It's going to take more than new tricks to beat us. And I'm like, I don't know if that was really... Even Adam at the merge was like, yeah, we totally didn't mean to wipe out the old schoolers. It just kind of happened.
Yeah.
So I don't really agree with that narrative that they're trying to spin. I agree with some... I think Rob, that kind of was his narrative because he was trying to do the whole buddy system and then oopsies, that didn't work.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know. I don't think the others were trying to go on their old school tactics. But
I think the old schoolers were perceived as, like, bigger threats. And I think that might be part of why they were, like, brought out earlier.
It's exactly like SOQ Winners at War. But the thing is, the old schoolers in SOQ Winners at War... Yeah. The old schoolers in SOQ Winners at War realized that they would probably be ganged up on, and they were ganged up on. So then they kind of banded together. Whereas in real Survivor, they just didn't really all come together and be like, oh, we need to stick together.
Right.
Like, Rob voted Danny off third.
Right.
Yeah. Because that was, like, the reason for Amber going makes sense because she's married to one of the greatest of all time. But it's like the Danny thing was, I mean, Parvati threw her name out there. That was an old turn on an old. That wasn't an old versus new situation.
Yeah.
So I agree with both of you guys there. And Zach, I like how you're like, we knew they were coming after us in Winners at War.
Yeah, you really did know, huh?
Yeah, you totally got them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys figured it out right after
when you had
gone.
the bullet in your head and you were laying on the ground, like, you know what, guys? I think the new schoolers are after us.
You know what? I think Devin and Ryback lied to us.
Yeah.
Well, actually, Beckett didn't even have the tribal open to me. I wasn't even on tribal at the time. And then I saw it was closed, and I'm like, well, what the hell happened? People were texting me, I got voted out, but I couldn't even see the tribal because he had already put me as one of the viewers.
All right, well, let's not get too off topic.
We'll have a whole different episode for that.
Yeah, for sure. One thing I want to talk about in the early episodes that's kind of important. I want to talk about Sandra. First off, I think her vote out episode was one of the better ones in my opinion. I thought that tribal was very entertaining.
Parvati went the same episode too.
Yeah, the villainesses.
Yeah,
that's harsh. But the fact that
I'll say I was a little scared on Samra's tribal because I thought Tony was about to go home and I was gonna go on a big rant about how advantages suck, but she voted Sandra out instead, which was sad. But I was like, okay, Tony's still in the game, everyone.
Yeah, I was like, I kind of look. I love Sandra just as much as the next guy, but like I think we've had enough. I think there's not much more to gain from her story. I don't feel. So I was fine with her going, and hell, she was too. Right when she hit the edge, she was like, "Nope," and just left. Which
I think Sandra screwed herself this season. I mean, I'm a huge Sandra fan. I love Sandra. I still think she's one of the two best players of all time with 2 wins. But I think she just came out. She had nothing to lose, so she came out aggressive, and that's just not the play style that I think fits her best. Like, I don't think the old Sandra would have pulled off that whole thing about giving Denise an idol or whatever.
Actually,
and
I'm gonna disagree with you on that, because
really?
I think in Game Changers she came out very aggressive. In Winners at War she came out very like she wants to help other people succeed so that she can succeed. In an interview she was like, my strategy for the first seasons were like, as long as it ain't me. And then in this season, I'm like, you know what? Let me try to like actually build bonds and build allies. And look what happened to me.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think it wasn't so much she played too aggressively; she played too friendly, I guess.
She tried to. I think she tried to influence the vote too much, and I think that kind of got her. If she had gone with the whole "as long as it ain't me," I don't think that she would have ever been put in that place to be voted out before.
Yeah, Denise might have gone home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it's because Denise had her own idol, so I feel like she would have played it for herself. And
True.
I don't know what would have happened.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about she had her own.
Yeah.
Though at the end of the day, it's like, why would she want to change what won her $1 million twice?
Yeah.
You know, if that works twice, you don't need to evolve to I shouldn't even say the word evolve, because I don't even know if it's an evolution. You don't need to hop on this voting block new school brigade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I feel as though it's important to adapt, but if it's won you twice, you don't need to if you're doing pretty well.
Yeah, just roll with it.
That's a pretty good strategy if it wins you twice.
No kidding. So moving along with Sandra, the fact that when she hit the edge, she just straight up left. She's like, I'm not gonna win the challenge. There's no point here starving. What does everyone think about that? Because the internet was pretty divided on that, whether it's like, oh, Sandra's a quitter, or
Sandra's not a quitter. Sandra is not a quitter. That bothers me.
I mean, you tell me, do you think Sandra is going to be able to win a challenge? I mean,
no.
Honestly.
No.
Exactly. She had nothing left to prove, so she said, okay, I'm going to leave.
She's got $2 million already. Like, she's not going to win a challenge. There's no, I mean, she could have had a free Fiji vacation for the next 25 days. I wouldn't pass that up. I mean, you've already won Survivor twice.
Right.
Yeah.
It rubbed me the wrong way a little bit, just because, like, I don't know. I mean, there's always the what if of, like, you never know if you might be able to pull something off. Like, just the mentality of just trying. But I get it. I get why she made that decision. I did, however, when I had to do the draft points, have to count that as a quit.
Oh no! Are you kidding me?
Why? How is that a quit? You pulled the flag, bro. That's technically a quit.
We just established it was not a quit.
Yes, but by the rules' sake.
See, I thought we were supposed to draft people who would return to the game, which is why I drafted both Natalie and Tyson. So I don't know why I'm being punished for this.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I don't want to get like too spoiler with the draft points, but Natalie held the record for most points gained in one episode.
It's a steal.
I imagine how that happened.
Steal.
Yeah, I wonder how that happened, right?
Yeah.
We'll have plenty to say on that later, I feel like.
I guess with the whole Xandra thing, it's everything that you guys have already said, because the fan base will find something to complain about. It doesn't matter what it is. Oh, yeah. It's either Edge is stupid or it's Sandra stupid for leaving Edge. Like, It's one or the other. Yeah. So
I hate this is probably not the place to be saying this, but I really hate the mainstream Survivor fan base.
Oh, dude. Okay, so my favorite corners of the Survivor fan base. First off, the best Survivor fan base is Quiz Up. Duh.
Yes, sir.
Of course.
Someone like the
now in Discord.
So it's so funny going between Twitter, Facebook, and Tumblr when it comes to Survivor opinions. I don't go on Reddit very much.
I stay away from all of those.
Me too. I don't go on any of those.
So I stay away a little bit from Reddit, not because I don't like it, just because I just don't typically go on Reddit. So it's so funny seeing, because Twitter is pretty like all over the place. Like there's you can't really pinpoint Twitter's opinions. Facebook is just hilarious, because Facebook is all those like casuals who are like, how come Boston Rob didn't win?
How come Ozzy hasn't won?
Wait, like shit like that. Where it's like,
Russell Hand should have won here.
Yeah, Russell Hand should have won. Bring back Rupert. Like it's those kind of fans. Although like the older people and everything. Whereas Tumblr is like, if a woman doesn't win, does it even matter? And I'm like, oh, Christ. I will give Tumblr a little bit of credit. We are on a six-man win streak, so I can imagine why they're a little tiffed right now. But it's so funny jumping back between, Twitter being pretty mixed on Sandra's quit, Tumblr praising it, and Facebook saying she's the Antichrist. So
I noticed I normally just use QuizUp. I go on Reddit a little bit and I look at through Instagram comments. Those are always the funniest because people are idiots in Instagram comments. And I just thought, I feel like every single comment in the pre-merge was complaining about how Sandra sits out of every challenge.
But like that,
and like they were hating on her
tribe.
Exactly. Like, come on.
And she's been doing that since Pearl Island.
And they don't air the reward challenges, so she probably participated in all of those ones.
Which bothers me that they didn't, but
Why does that bother you? I'm so glad they didn't show this.
The reward
I don't.
What do you mean?
I'd rather take. This might be a debate, but I would rather take Edge over reward challenges.
I agree with that.
Okay.
I miss the rewards, like the seeing people that go on rewards in the post merge.
Okay, but
I feel like they don't do that as much.
The problem with that, Zach, is we know Fiji already, and they're just gonna show us the same places.
Yeah,
I think
that's
when
true.
it's like
That is true.
when it's like, oh, Nicaragua going sledding on a volcano, or like shit like that, like that's dope because we don't, it's new places. But
Well, I've always said the best part of the rewards is just seeing 2, sometimes 3 characters interact in just them. Because I always find that really interesting to see how they, especially if it's not 2 people who are super close or something. I always find it funny watching people just go off on their own and like not like be around the whole tribe setting. But that's always been an appeal to me. So I miss that a little bit. You can always look at
the secret scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, or even sometimes when like the rewards have like hidden advantages or something. Like I think it was HHH where it was like, I think it was that one where it was like the spaghetti plate and they each had like a minute to eat some and there's like an advantage under the plate and like every player came in like did different things with it.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I was expecting something with the fortune cookie. Mm-hmm. Like I was just waiting for a fortune cookie during the whole Nick and Sarah thing to be like, you open up your cookie and it's like, this is an individual immunity idol clue, and I was about to be pissed off. So I was so glad that there wasn't any interference with the reward challenges.
Subverting expectations for the first time ever.
Because Zach, you said you want like interactions among players. I do too, but I'd rather have it on the edge where they're very like vulnerable and destroyed than oh my goodness, you like ice cream? Let's go watch Jack and Jill or whatever the prize is.
Don't hate the Jack and Jill scene.
I will always hate the Jack and Jill reward.
What about he's more of a fan of the Gulliver's Travels one.
You're right. I can't wait for John to make the Final 8 reward challenge in Mafia City a Gulliver's Travel pirated video that you can watch online.
That would be incredible. John, please.
He'll do it with a Mafia movie. It's like
you have to speed run watching the Godfather trilogy. First person to post a screenshot wins immunity.
So on that note, I think it would be a pretty good point to talk about the Edge of Extinction this season.
Yes. Horrible.
Okay.
Horrible.
Hold on.
Horrible.
Hold on. Going into the season, I was very, very upset that we were having Edge of Extinction, as were a lot of the players, as were many of the viewers. As it sort of went along, I started to, like, when all the old schoolers were on the Edge, I started to kind of take some sort of interest in it, because it seemed like it was almost like the game was split by new school and old school. Because all the old school players, all their confessionals were about, like, oh, the elements and surviving and surpassing your own like personal battles and everything, which is kind of what old school Survivor was, and then it goes back to new school Survivor where it's all about the gameplay and the gameplay and the gameplay. So I kind of I get why from a gameplay standard having Edge of Extinction on Winners at War is dog shit, but from a storytelling perspective, I think it wrapped up a lot of stories really, really well, and I would take that over gameplay for me.
I will say, I think Edge of Extinction wasn't a bad idea this season, and I think it was really good for the storyline aspect, as you said. My biggest complaint with it it comes with the fire tokens. I think
the fire tokens work better than the last State of Extinction did.
No, but the way I didn't like it is because it gave the people who were there longer a better opportunity
to
win the challenge. I think it's like rewarding Natalie for going on day 2. And it's like, here,
it's intentional.
Here's the opportunity.
Baby.
But at the same time, Amber was there the same day as Natalie, and she didn't get any. Like, you can't discredit Natalie for busting her. Can we swear on this? Her ass for.
Yeah, but you can't discredit Natalie when people like you'll get voted out and don't even have a chance to get a fire token before the chance to get back at the merge. Like, tell me how that's fair to Yol.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, Wendell wins that challenge if Natalie doesn't have 3 advantages. Plain and
simple. Wendell was in the lead. He blew it. He was already in the lead.
Yeah, but Natalie shouldn't even be allowed to get 3 advantages to a single challenge in the first place.
That was a little silly how they let you like stack advantages.
Yeah, I thought that was complete BS. I was like furious.
I was rooting for anybody but Natalie to win because it felt so obvious that Natalie would win.
If Natalie had won the game, this would be a bottom 5 season for me because it's just BS that you can be the first person voted out and you can come back and win the game. No, that's garbage.
But she didn't.
Which is why this is better than bottom.
Which is why this is to me a top 10.
I will say this. I will say this. I was for like the first time in over a year. I was on the Survivor Reddit the other day just to see what people are saying about the season. And someone said this: "I'm satisfied with the result, but not the journey. Therefore, I'm not satisfied with the season." And that's how I feel. I will preface this by saying Tony is my favorite player of all time, and I'm beyond happy Tony won. Yeah. But the way we got there was incredibly frustrating, and therefore I have a lot of gripes with the season. I can't say it's a good season when, it was this close from disaster by having Natalie almost win.
But it was a 12-4 vote. She wouldn't have beaten Sarah. She wouldn't have beaten Tony.
What's funny about that?
She pissed off so many people.
Yeah, apparently she pissed off a bunch of people on the edge.
Boston Rob's speech is what gave it away that she wasn't going to win. When he said that she didn't connect with half the jurors there, you knew it was over. You knew Tony was winning at that point.
Did you hear about the Yule thing too?
Yeah, the peanut butter fiasco.
Was that what it was about? I remember she just freaked out on him.
Yeah, it was basically, I don't know, it was this whole thing. I don't know the full details, so I don't want to speak on it just because I don't know every detail and I don't want to paint anyone in an, unfortunate light. But I feel like that's just nerves getting to you, and that's just tiresome, and that's. But to go back to that, I think the only person who has a shot at returning from the edge and winning the game is Tyson or. I feel like I don't know. I'm looking at this cast, and it's hard for me to see anyone besides Tyson that has enough charisma or can phrase their speech well enough that they can beat. Yeah, I mean, Kim probably could, but
I don't know if Kim could have.
She wins Final Four immunity.
I'm a huge,
because she's already won that one.
Huge Kim fan, as you guys well know.
We forgot about that.
And I just think she played enough of the game, and to be considered a major player up to that point. And I think she's well liked enough. I think she's charismatic enough. I think people would respect her game enough that I think she could have come back and still won the game.
Yeah, I'll probably take Kim. You have to play perfect though. Chris Underwood did, Natalie didn't, and that's why Natalie lost.
Agreed.
So, fun story. Apparently, the reason that Michelle got 0 votes in the end is because I heard about this. Yeah. So some people knew that others were voting Natalie, and they're like, "Oh, guys, we can't let Natalie win. We're not gonna split the votes on this."
Yeah,
it's kind of a bummer.
That makes sense.
That's another reason why Edge sucks, because it's such a jury threat. Natalie plays a horrible game upon returning and still manages to get 4 votes just because. Oh, Natalie's my friend. Mm-hmm. No,
okay.
Garbage.
Question for you guys, just opinion.
Yep.
If say the final 3 goes to a final 2 and Tony loses at final 3, do you think Michelle or Natalie wins?
I think Sarah wins.
I think Michelle wins.
I'm 100% serious.
No. I think you missed the question. Wins. Sarah goes.
No. If Tony if it's top 3 after Sarah.
Oh, my bad.
And then there's another
so
one.
Sorry.
And Tony lost. No, you're good.
I'm not memeing. I thought I was serious.
If it was just Michelle versus Natalie in a final 2, I think Michelle would win.
Yeah, I would say that because of what I read about the jury members saying that they were all voting Tony just because they didn't want Natalie to win. So I feel like Michelle probably would have won.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Nick and Wendell are going to be campaigning super hard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But we'll never see a final 2 again, so we don't have to worry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
die
miss
with
Final
Tony.
Twos.
Unless they pull like a Kage on, it's just like, oh, surprise, Final Two.
But then they'd have to change the Final Four thing.
Oh.
You know?
Yeah.
That's fair.
Which I hope
Unless
they
they do
do.
a fire
because
making
that
at
twist
Final
sucks.
3.
Yeah,
You win Final Immunity, everyone else fire makes.
Notice how a female hasn't won the game since they put that into place.
Ooh.
Just saying.
Yeah, but Sarah was
Tumblr.
inches away from beating Tony.
Yeah.
I don't
Also,
know.
I feel
it
like
might be more than a coincidence, though.
I don't know about that one.
I think. I don't want to get into that. I don't want.
Yeah, the four of us are not qualified. I feel like to talk about that.
Let us
that is
four straight
That is
white
true.
men discuss why women can't win this game anymore. No.
And transition.
Yeah, transition. So the Edge, I think mixed results. I think some parts of it worked better, some parts of it worked worse.
Yep.
I kind of enjoyed the fire token system.
Yeah, I did too.
I think it was a fun kind of like experiment. It seemed the way they keep talking about it, though is Jeff was like, "Oh, it's the introduction of fire tokens." So I don't know if it's going to be a thing that comes back or a thing that's going to
Oh,
be
it will.
forever.
It'll come back. 100%.
Yeah.
Oh, it's coming back.
I'll-
Edge isn't
Jeff
what fire
loved
tokens
it.
are.
You could tell Jeff loved it the way he talked about it. It's
I'm
coming
interested to see how Edge, or how fire tokens works without Edge, though.
It's probably just going to be like bargaining chips, and like because you can get them from winning immunities, and then you can, if you want to play a social game, you can buy like a tarp for the tribe or
Right.
you know, stuff like
Nice.
that. I feel like they'll
I
be more
really-
interesting without Edge, because with
Yes.
Edge it was just kind of like, oh, here, buy this advantage. But without Edge, I think it becomes a lot more like strategic.
I got in
The-
so
the-
many arguments with my family because we were talking about the draft points, and they were like, "How come when somebody gets an advantage on the Edge, they don't get draft points?" I'm like, because the advantage ends up sending into the game to affect somebody else. It
Yeah.
doesn't affect them.
If that was the case, Natalie would have had the most draft points after being the first person voted out.
It's a shame we
Yeah.
didn't count that way, man.
It ain't it though. I could try to like recount, but I'd have to rewatch the whole thing, or at least like go back and watch those parts.
Yeah. I think something that I really liked the idea of fire tokens because I love the idea of bargaining.
Mhm.
I think that's a
Mhm.
really cool thing to have.
Mhm.
I just don't like how it just abruptly ended without like any sort of conclusion. It was like, oh, by the way, last night, and everyone's like, well,
here's some
okay,
rice.
last night.
Yeah,
No, I agree. I feel like there should be a better payoff there. I'm with Chris on that.
I think,
Mhm.
what
Or
was
like a
kinda,
warning.
What was kind of cool is like how they didn't really like mention like what it's gonna do later on. So a lot of them were like confused on what the fire tokens did. So like, well, I guess I'd rather have more.
Mhm.
Which I think is kind of cool.
Yeah.
I'll be.
I mean, you all
intrigued
thought
to
it was
see
gonna
how
be an
it
idol.
works. Yeah.
There was a point in the game. I think it was either the second to last episode or the third to last episode, and it was when Nick paid for, I think it was 6 or 7 fire tokens to give Ben the challenge disadvantage.
That was the one
Yeah.
for last.
And I remember at the time I was saying, I think that's a terrible decision because I feel like that's a lot of fire tokens to be spent on such a minor advantage. That's the way I saw it. But then, because I was like, I think you can probably get something better with all those tokens. But then there was never an opportunity. So I don't know. Obviously, that made me way off on that. But I just feel like there could be something at the end of the game or to reward the people who still have fire tokens.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I feel like there really was not much of a payoff for fire tokens, and yeah, it just kind of made them boring. And it was really hard to keep track of who had how many.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, another thing. I hate to sound like a broken record, but that's another thing that Survivor did pretty well, but not perfectly. I think we got a long ways to go, and we just started the new decade of Survivor, so
Oh my goodness.
yeah, we'll see how
Jesus.
things change. You know,
Let's see if I watch this one.
Yeah,
I
I
will.
know.
I will purely because it's a thing to do with my family, if anything.
Oh, there you go.
I got my
Yeah.
future
I'll be-
roommate in
I'll
the
be in-
Survivor,
I'll be in-
so we'll be watching it.
Yeah, and
I'll be in college.
I gotta study
I'll be in
up so when I
college,
can go
so-
on. You know? Which, by the way, I'm applying again next month, so whoop whoop.
Yep.
Exciting.
I'm applying as soon as I can, which is
Hey,
in,
you
like,
know what?
3
Jeff
months.
said 16-year-olds now, which would be a legal fucking disaster, but
Yeah, that's a terrible idea. There's no way that's gonna happen.
no, like, are you kidding me? You want to go
That's
from
so
season
bad.
39 with fucking Dan out there, and you're gonna be like, let's bring children on.
I am 17, and I would agree that I don't think 95% of my peers are qualified to be on a reality TV show.
It's not even just the whole legal issue. I don't want a bunch of entitled punk kids who think they've lived all their life to go on Survivor and be like, I'm the big fucking kahunas. And I'm like, you haven't lived anything. You've never been out of your parents' basement.
Kyle, stop describing me.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
Anyway, next thing I want to talk about is some specific moments and also different character interactions.
Yeah.
Why did everybody hate Ben?
I don't know.
Because they needed someone to dislike.
I guess it kind of came out of nowhere. I feel.
I feel like it wasn't hatred. It was more so like annoyance. Because the whole season, he was like, if you would tell him something, he would run and tell that person, and that would probably pissed off everyone.
That's true.
Yeah, I think it was probably part of Ben's, how he said in the finale he wanted to come out and like be truthful and make friends, but on a game built of deception, it upsets some people when you do that.
Yeah. The editing with Ben was really strange. I felt like the whole season, I feel like he was edited to act really stupid. I feel like they focused on a lot of the scenes that made him look bad, and then in the finale, he was all of a sudden this amazing, lovable guy. Mm-hmm. Which I don't know. I thought that was strange.
They have to pick one person or two people for the viewers to dislike, and they chose Wendell and they chose Ben, and it was.
And I think Adam too.
Yeah, a little bit of Adam for sure, but you have to pick people that no one that fans will say, okay, sure, I think I can dislike them. Because you're not going to be disliking Tony or Jeremy or Kim or Sophie or Yul or Parvati,
Yeah, or Ethan.
Speaking of,
my God, imagine disliking Ethan.
Ethan is. I can't. I don't think you can find a person on this planet who dislikes Ethan.
Yeah.
Except maybe Jenna Maraska.
I was going to say that.
Well, that's fine.
Yikes.
I think one thing that I brought up with my family when we were watching the season. I think when my mom got really upset when Amber went home because she's like, "Oh, I really liked her." I'm like, you have to also understand, we can't cry for these guys too much. They're all millionaires. They're gonna be okay.
Amber's a 2 millionaire.
Yeah.
Well, technically, they're only 600,000aires after Obama takes it.
After Obama comes.
Well, wait, hold on. Weren't they in the Clinton administration or the Bush administration at that point?
It was Bush.
Bush, yeah. Some of them.
Can we have a Survivor season of just presidential candidates?
Dude, Al Gore is my lock.
Dude, all in on Jeb.
Oh my God. No, Jeb already played, remember? Because Michelle said, please clap after she won immunity.
Oh. Good one.
I've always said that a celebrity Survivor could never exist because people could ruin their reputations on this show, and I don't think anyone wants to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, but celebrities go on. There's Big Brother version, and it was B-list, but still.
I guess, but I feel like you're not painted as much in it. At least you're somewhere comfortable with a bunch of makeup and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
The mental stress isn't as big in Big Brother as it is in Survivor.
Yeah. It would be a 12-person 2-week, because their agents too would be like, no, you're not going to starve my actor. I need him for Fast and Furious 12. You can't do that.
We need to starve them to get them buff, not starve them for reality TV.
Yeah.
Yikes.
So, speaking of with the characters, there were some fun rivalries this season as well as some really fun friendships. I think personally one of my favorite rivalries was Ben versus Adam, just because they were both kind of painted to be these kind of sporadic goofballs. Their whole one of my favorite confessionals was from Adam when on I think it was Wendell's boot episode, it was the merge one, when he goes to Ben, he's like, Ben, so what's the plan? And Ben's like, I'll be honest, I have no idea. And Adam's like, and then Ben's like, oh. Dude, why are you freaking out?
I love how the only time those two were able to come together and work together was to take Boston Rob out.
Yeah, really. That buddy system thing was really funny. That was such a well-edited
The Godfather scene. Unifying people.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, everything was well edited.
Yeah,
I think there was very few times that I was upset with it. I think my favorite like editing thing was either Tony's ladder and then like the 8 confessionals of people giving like 2 seconds of like sound.
Yeah.
And then the extortion was so
that was so
well
good.
done.
Any moment that involved Tony, I feel is very well edited. And I think that's partially on the editing, partially on how great Tony is.
I can't believe he won. Oh my goodness.
I know.
That's
I
what
was
people were
thinking,
saying after Kage-on.
Yeah, I was thinking back like at the first episode where John, when he was picking his teams, like I don't think Tony's gonna win, but I got to put him on my team because he's my favorite.
Yes.
Look what happened.
I remember that. John literally said,
that.
I don't think he's gonna, but I love him, and if he does, he does.
Yeah.
One of my favorite arguments for Russell Hantz fans that I've always found is hilarious is that Russell Hantz is Tony if he didn't have a bitter jury, and I think this season proved how bullshit that is.
No, Tony played a great social game.
Tony has the social game.
And if anyone says otherwise, watch the fire token scene with the extortion advantage.
And watch like the ladder and catching the shark. Like he's genuinely like a pleasant guy to be around.
Yeah, for sure.
And the scene where he's talking about the calendar with Jeremy, like that right there is
I love that scene.
Bomb social game. Yeah.
His first season he won for his incredible strategic play, and this season he was a triple threat. He did everything. He was perfect.
Someone brought up in regards to the spy nest, which I think was a kind of funny thing. They were talking like how much he like praised it, and then someone was like, you know, like all the scenes that he was spying on was Sarah talking to somebody. Sarah probably would have just told him.
Yeah, I was gonna say this Pennis was kind of pointless, other than being like something fun for us to watch and like reference.
I guess the argument there, though, like to counter that is, to be fair, Sarah didn't have to tell him the truth, and this ensured that she would, because she knew that he was watching.
She still would, though.
She still would have.
I feel like it. I can't.
Did she know he was watching?
Yes.
Yeah.
Or she knew at the time as the
she brought him there.
Yeah.
Okay.
She brought Natalie there, which terrible on Natalie. Why would you in a buff on your arm? Really, is it the best place to put Nidal? Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, that was a bad move.
I thought she was doing it on purpose.
I don't think so.
At the time,
no, because then she would have played it. Okay, if she was intentionally trying to get the votes on her.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, maybe you're right, Zach. Actually, it could be it.
Yeah.
I think I heard in an interview she said that was a mistake. Like.
Okay.
No, never mind, Zach. You're wrong.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't watch the whole thing. I think so. Another fun interaction was I think Parvati and Ethan were a pretty fun duo, as well as just Rob and Ethan.
Yeah.
Anyone can gel with Ethan.
Oh, for sure. Sophie and Kim, even though they didn't work a whole lot together, had some good moments. Kim and Denise had some good moments. Denise and Jeremy. Michelle and everybody who was on the bottom.
Michelle was very fun to watch this season.
Michelle,
well, it's just Go ahead.
Michelle, like, I had a lot of mixed feelings on. I didn't like her fucking Michelle and Wendell arc. I thought that was annoying. I think they were both being annoying. But I think the whole time I remember watching it, I'm like, I really, really want to root for you, and I feel like I should. But I just couldn't find anything like super big to bring up in her favor. Like I don't think she was she was on the bottom pretty much the whole season. She was almost always on the wrong side of the votes. Yes, she made it to the end, and that's great, but like
I feel like that's what made her fun to cheer for her, though, because she was the underdog.
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't vibing with some of her attitude for some of it. But
had she won, it would have been a much very different edit that we would have seen.
Yeah.
So I feel as though that were the case, we'd probably be sitting here praising her for what she did and how she pulled off an incredible underdog run, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm back.
So we have to keep the edit in mind.
Yeah, like how it's which was crazy watching this season because like everybody here knows, especially us, like we all know that each one of these people are great players.
Yes.
And they're like good people, obviously, to an extent, because they played the social game enough to win the game. And the fact that like some of them had to look stupid or some had to like make stupid moves is fascinating.
Yeah.
I mean,
I thought it was crazy that we are probably gonna have a GOAT, someone who got to the end and got 0 votes. Like that always
Yeah,
It's crazy to me because these are all people who have gotten to the end and gotten a bunch of votes before. So to have somebody turn around and have to get 0 votes, I thought that would be like insane.
Yeah, that was my thinking too. I'm like, it's not even crazy that like winners are gonna get voted off. It's crazy that a winner is gonna get second and third.
Yeah.
Who do you think from this season had the biggest like rise in how good they were, and the biggest dip?
Tony.
Michelle.
Okay.
Tony and Michelle, I would say. I think Tony and Michelle both stood out. Like, I mean, you can just tell from the online fan base, as much as I hate to pay attention to them, Michelle is all of a sudden a fan favorite. Everyone loves her now. She used to be, like, the black sheep of Survivor winners with Natalie White.
Right.
And
Jenna.
she is... Yeah, right. And she's well-loved now. And I've never had a problem with her. I've just never, like, looked up to her.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this season she proved that. She's right there with the best of them. She's now the only winner to ever play and multiple times and never get voted out.
Yep.
So...
Yeah.
Props to her.
Well, unless you're counting like Jenna quitting, but that's kind of
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Jenna was the other one, but I didn't count.
Or one-time players.
Yeah.
I said to multi-time
players.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
I don't think anyone dipped though. I feel as though
No, I agree.
everyone had a very good edit. Even yes, Wendell's was a little rough, but they had to find a villain, and he was the first merge boot.
Right.
And then you can usually find really good villains at first merge boots.
Yeah.
You know, especially like in his season. You know, and so I feel like everyone else, things were tied up. Like Adams got tied up when his family came, and he was like crying, and you saw like how hard it was on him, but how much he learned. And Ben had his tie up when he sacrificed himself, and no one was mad about that. That's the crazy thing. If that's like, you know, if that's Jeremy or if that's Nick, everyone's gonna be like, how would you do that? That's so stupid. But then Ben does it, and they're like, oh my god, he's a hero. He's sacrificing himself.
I don't know. You might be looking in different places than I am, because a lot of people are like, that's a quit, Ben. That's pretty much quitting.
That's why
I'm sure there's a lot of Ben haters.
Yeah. Look, I like Ben. Don't get me wrong.
Me too.
I don't understand. From a human level, I get what he did at Final Five, telling Sarah to vote him out, but on a gameplay level, I'm not. He did talk about later how it's like it's either get voted out now or make it to the end and get totally dragged.
I was gonna say total props to him for having enough game awareness to know that if he gets to the end, he's not getting any votes.
Well, it's because Natalie told him.
Yeah. Sometimes it's like, okay, that's
another reason Edge is kind of bad.
Yeah, because Natalie came back from Edge, and Natalie said, "Everyone hates you. You're not going to win."
Yeah, and
he didn't want to have to go through that
everyone's
again.
going to vote for Tony.
Yeah.
And Tony still won.
Yeah.
You could argue that's the greatest winning performance of all time.
You really could. I mean, he
think
played a
he could make
phenomenal game.
Yep. Zero votes against him. Everyone
true.
loved him. He controlled every vote. He won challenge. I mean, I don't think you
Well,
could pick out
almost
a flaw in
every.
this game. He won 4 immunity challenges? That's
4.
Yeah, 4.
That's insane. That's like upper tier.
Yeah.
And
then
it
the fire
wasn't
making.
times he was in desperate need of it either. I don't think he ever won immunity and he needed it.
Final 5. Yeah, I think
You definitely needed it at 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
5.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'd say that's the only one. But I would say there's very few flaws you can find in his game.
Yeah. I guess no one really dipped too hard in their performances. I think it's just like for example, Adam kind of overplayed, which I get. He got excited. I like if I was in Adam's shoes, like I feel like I relate to Adam a lot, being that kind of like neurotic super fan. If I was on that season, I'd be doing all the same things. I would be the one who goes up to the voting booth and tries to pull the thing out, which
that was so funny.
Will
That was so
100% be an idol one day.
Yeah, get ready for next season when the idols are underneath your
Ghost
chairs.
Island 2, when that's going to be an idol. Oh my god, if I get cast as Ghost Island 2,
That'd be the best season
that
to
would
be
be
casting.
so good.
That'd be the best.
That is my biggest hope.
They need to do Ghost Island again. I think Ghost Island is probably the most successful theme they've had in like 10 seasons.
Big agree.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe more.
The podium's in a tree. It's like climb the tree and pull it
Can
out.
you reverse the curse?
Well, no, I was thinking more so like there will be an idol hidden at Tribal.
Oh, there will be. Yeah.
Like I think that. I'm
Yeah.
surprised they haven't done that before.
There'll be one at the voting booth.
Yeah. Oh
You
yeah.
pick up
dude,
the
that'd be
torch, but
great.
there's an idol underneath it.
I don't know if you guys saw this, but on like an Ask Me Anything after he won, they asked Adam, like, people asked him about anything that he would do next time if he played, or that he's surprised hasn't happened yet in Survivor.
Mm-hmm.
And he commented back in like 2015, 16, whenever his win was.
Mm-hmm.
He said he's shocked that there's no idols on Tribal Council sets, and he's going to look for one. So he's been thinking about this for years.
Yeah, I will say about Adam, I feel like he got a bad rep this season. I'm in the camp that, I think I'd mentioned this on Discord, but I was not an Adam fan most of the season, and then I had this really, really strange dream where Adam and I became like best friends, and it was really weird. And I woke up and I loved Adam after that point. So props to you, Adam.
Is this like Shambo having a premonition of voting Dave off?
Man, I don't know, but all I know is Adam changed dramatically after that dream.
Fair.
When Kat's like, Kim, out of gym you were gonna shoot me, and Kim's like, that's weird, and then they vote her out next.
That's great. I forgot about that. I think performances that like I feel impressed me. I think Denise played pretty well for the most part, but nothing. What I liked about Denise this season is right after her playing the idol and voting out Sandra thing, I was like, I don't even think she needs to win anymore because like her story is wrapped up because that she was one of the only winners who like in recent history who won without like ever having an idol. Mm-hmm. So
interesting.
Like, you know what? Props, that's impressive. And then to finally like have the ability to play an idol and vote out fucking the 2-time winner Sandra, kudos. And I remember when we were like the preview for the finale, I was like, Denise was saying like, oh, my Survivor bucket is overflowing. I'm like, and that's how you know you're not going to win this one.
Yeah. No, Kyle, I will say, I feel like after that episode, the editors knew that her story was done because I feel like she didn't get any content the rest of the season.
Yeah, pretty much.
I feel like she mentally checked out of the game to like final 6.
I will say someone who I think had a major improvement is I think Sarah.
Sarah was interesting to me.
Do you mean Lucina?
Yeah, Lucina, excuse me.
Lucina.
Lucina was my uncle kept calling her Lucina. I'm like, nope, not Fire Emblem. What was interesting to me about Lucina is like she obviously like has mentioned several times that Game Changers really messed her up because like people were seeing her as like this super mean, horrible person, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And so she wanted to play a more friendly game this time, and I think that did work for the most part. But like, man, she also like maybe it's just in the edit, but she really came off as just like, Tony won't beat me. What? No, come on. And I'm like, dude.
Yeah, it seems like she was kind of just following Tony around. And I mean, yeah,
it's not because she's a woman, by the way.
The edit.
No, it's not because she's a woman. Sorry,
but if she won
the people out
if she won that fire making challenge, she wins easily. I think. I don't think it's even close. But I think she wins just as big as Tony did. So like, you can't argue with that. Like, she played a game up to a point where one little fire making challenge decided whether she won or not. I think that's impressive.
I agree. I think she wins if she wins that fire making challenge for sure. Yeah. I think that Dre definitely respected her.
Yeah, this may be a bold. Too. I think a lot of people liked her that season. There was a lot of people talking. Like I remember Kim saying at one point, I think Sophie said at one point that they really liked Sarah as a person.
Yeah. No, this may be a bold take, but her whole purpose and her whole game was beating Tony. So if she got to the end with him next to her, she has an entire like season's worth of thinking and confessionals to say, here's what I planned out, here's how I did it. I'm here next to him because I'm not afraid of him. And I feel like that would have gotten a lot of respect, especially considering what she did the travels. But I think she could beat him, to be honest. If they were together in the final 3.
Maybe.
I agree with Chris.
I feel like it'd be close.
That'd have been so good. Oh my
god, that would have been fantastic. Look, I'm pleased with the final Tribal Council we got. Anyway.
I mean, I am too. I'm just saying, that'd be crazy.
Going into that finale, I remember thinking that the people who had a chance to win were Tony, Sarah, Michelle, and whoever came back from Edge. Mm-hmm. I didn't think Ben or Denise had a shot, and Ben and Denise were the first 2 out. So I was like, you know what, that's fine, because then you're going into a situation where I think anyone can win.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's exciting. That hasn't happened.
Sure.
That never happens.
I remember with David versus Goliath, like Christian had such a huge edit, and then he was voted out the episode before the finale. I'm like, okay, good. I feel a little bit better about like having a little bit more of a. It's Nick winning, but I have a little bit, a little bit more mystery.
Yeah.
I still haven't seen that.
That's why I was so glad that Chris Underwood won Edge of Extinction, because I wanted anyone but Devins to win.
Hot take: Chris Underwood winning Edge of Extinction put it as like a top 15 season for me.
Oh wow!
I wouldn't go that. I wouldn't take.
Is that just because you hate Devins?
It's partially just because I hate Devins, but just the story was just it's too perfect, man. It's too perfect.
If you watch the first 3 episodes and then the finale in like one sitting, I think that's the perfect viewing experience of Ghost.
I always did say that, but I think it's better to watch the whole thing just to see Rick Devens get so close to winning and having all these great moments and then getting his ass handed to him.
I wouldn't call it top 15, but I think if Devens does win that season, it's in my bottom 3.
Yeah.
I'll say I have not seen Edge, but after watching Edge,
that's okay.
In this season, I would say I probably would never watch Edge of Extinction because I probably wouldn't like Chris winning that much. But I mean, nothing against him, but I just don't like returning players.
Well, if he didn't win, then Natalie might have won this season because he set the standard and he set the bar for what you had to do. You know.
True.
Yeah. That's true.
And he also set the idea that somebody from Edge can win, and now everyone who hated Edge are like, oh, no. I don't want that to happen again.
Yeah.
I respect them for helping Natalie lose, but...
I think it's interesting, because in Edge of Extinction, I was hardcore rooting for Chris to win when he came back. And then Winners at War, I wanted nothing to do with Natalie winning. I don't know if that was just because I liked the people in the game at Winners at War, and I didn't really in Edge of Extinction. But it's just an interesting contrast that I just felt like I had to mention.
This season was just such a meme season, dude. Like, I was going into it, I'm like, with this kind of twist, who cares who wins? Like, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Obviously, the gameplay really doesn't matter here. Go War Dog, dude. Like,
I love War Dog.
I actually, unironically, really liked War Dog.
Yeah, me too.
Anyway, Winners of War. One thing I want to talk about.
We're at the hour mark, so I wasn't sure if.
Oh, yeah.
At what point you wanted to talk about drafting and stuff. Yeah, we've been going for an hour.
Oh, fudge. All right.
Wild.
Oh, okay. Well, it says on my thing it's 53 minutes, so that's fine.
Oh.
We had 10 or so minutes where we were just totally preparing stuff. Yeah.
I forgot. You had to drink water for 10 minutes. My bad. Continue.
Okay, anyway.
We had to plan our introductions.
Anyway, I want to talk about Tony real quick. Just going into the season and at the beginning of the season, in his first few confessionals, he was talking about how his whole strategy was, he's going to play super, like, casual, whatever, blah, blah, blah. He's going to keep lowering and lowering his guns until, like, they lowered enough so he can just sucker punch them. And that's exactly what he did.
I feel like they did that in the edit, too, because they were editing him as, like, this, I follow this account on Instagram, and I remember, like, in the first few episodes, they're like, so I guess Tony's just being edited as the village idiot this season.
Yeah, that's what
And so they just made you think Tony was this crazy person, and then once you got to the merge, you start seeing all this strategy, so I feel like the edit kind of did that.
I remember going into Sophie's boot episode, how, like, Tony in the confessional was like, I want to make a big move now. I'm like, okay, this is either the episode that will make or break Tony.
Yep.
And it made him, and I'm like, okay, he's got it now. Because Sophie was my winning pick.
That was such a Chad tribal when he did that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys remember this, but at the time, I remember saying that I thought it was a horrible move. The game.
Yeah.
So freezing cold takes there. But
I did on that. I did end up when I told Zach.
Yes, Chris, you got me there. But I remember saying, I was like, the next few episodes will prove me wrong, because right or wrong, because I said this will be the thing that makes or breaks him, and I thought it broke him, but I think it ended up making him. So that shows how much I know.
Oh, 100%. That was his huge thing, because it wasn't like an idle play. It wasn't an advantage. It was simply finding the numbers and like an old school play. If we want to talk new school versus old school, I think his biggest and best move was an old school move.
For sure, because
old school blind signs are better than idle blind signs, in my opinion.
I can agree with that. And the fact that he waited till like the very last minute to be like, hey, Jeremy, Nick, we got to do this. And I'm like, oh, okay. That was brilliant. Don't give him time to scramble. And
high
thank God
IQ
for not
play.
having like whispering at tribal.
I know.
Yeah, no, that Sophie blindside was my favorite of the entire season.
Even though I really like Sophie and I felt really bad for her.
Oh, me too. Me too. Yeah. And that's the thing is that I'm pretty sure when we drafted, I was like, I do not want her on my team. And now I'm like, oh man, she's great. So I feel like that's on me as well.
I might be off on this. Did I have Sophie? I thought I at least had her. I had her high on my list.
You had Sophie.
I had Sophie. Yeah, I loved Sophie coming into the season, and she delivered. So I was happy with that.
Yep. I think though, as I mentioned, this is a big season about storylines and like wrapping up storylines and like all that good stuff. And what's fascinating to me is I really felt like one of the least interesting storylines was Tony's. Like from a gameplay perspective, yes, but from like a life experience, like a life kind of story, there wasn't really a lot there. There didn't really need to be because his story was about the gameplay and everything, and like altering his game from Game Changers.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the other people who were in the finale, I think Michelle, Natalie, Sarah, and even Ben, I think, all had like better stories than Tony.
Yeah.
So I would agree with that.
And I think that's okay.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
I'm fine with it. I'm thrilled with Tony's win.
His story is he won.
I mean, hell, that's kind of the same as like even last season. Like
his story is he's a Chad.
I didn't watch last season.
I did not watch last season.
I don't think anybody here watched last season except me.
I watched the first 4 episodes and then I tuned out.
Yeah,
and I watched the finale too.
I saw the finale.
And then I went to school and college.
So. Yeah, you guys were smart for missing last season.
Apparently so.
Yeah, boy.
It's not when I'm
bottom 3.
That's why Hatch didn't come back.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like
no,
the whole thing was because Hatch didn't come back because he was clear to go, like he was ready to go, and he was like all his medical stuff was passed, and he was going to be there. And then because of what happened in All Stars with Sue Hawk, and because of what happened in Island of the Idols, Jeff said, "No, I don't want anything happening in today's culture."
Yeah,
that makes me so sad.
From a production point, I get it. But I don't agree with it.
It makes me so sad.
Who would he have replaced, though? Like, who do you think it would not have made it? Ben?
Good question.
Or do you think they keep Ben because they want someone new?
They would have taken Ben. Jeff loves Ben.
Jeff loves Ben. I will testify to that.
And it's just hard to look at this cast and say who would not come.
Nick?
Is it scary enough to say Yul?
I was thinking it was Nick.
Yul, yeah.
No, they've been trying to get Yul back for years now. They've been like the last like. I remember Game Changers, he was in like big talks to come back. And I think I want to say Blood versus Water too. But like the rumor of Yule coming back has been around for a really long time. So I don't think it would have been Yule. I can't tell you who I think it would have been. No, I think
and
gotcha.
Besides being the last Primrose boot, I think Yule was one of my favorites this season.
Yeah, Yule was great.
Yeah.
The whole
I thought he was winning
at
one point.
That was beautiful.
Yeah. He had the winners edit going on for a bit there.
And then it transferred to Sophie.
Yeah. And then it
was
Tony.
like, well, Tony and Sarah
shared it. Yeah, Tony and Sarah shared it.
Which was so good, which is why it was so good.
That fire making challenge was one for the ages.
Oh, that was arguably the best scene in the entire season, I feel like. Yeah. That was just so
easily.
Yeah, that was perfect.
I think this may be a bold take, but is the Cops R Us storyline the best multi-seasonal storyline of all time?
Absolutely. I said that during the finale.
Over Tyson's development?
Friendship, yes, for sure. It's the best developed alliance over multi-seasons. I don't know if it's the best story per se.
I think you can contend that with Boston Rob in general as a storyline, from the goofy kid in Marquesas to what he's become now, basically a survivor god. I don't think
that's Tyson too, though.
Yeah.
I don't think Winners at War has really influenced it all that much for Rob, but I think just in general over multiple seasons, I think Rob's is right up there with Cops R Us and with Tyson.
Yeah, very well could be. Yeah. I mean, I think Tyson's big one just comes from the fact that he was like, John doesn't like him because of like his Token Teens antics, you know?
Yeah.
And his token, and then in Heroes vs. Villains, he was an idiot. And then all of a sudden, Blood vs. Water, he starts to care when Rachel gets voted out. And now he's with his family, and he's like, his thing with his daughter, like Token Teen Tyson would never, like stuff like that.
We didn't even talk about the Loved One visit.
That was so good. That was my favorite.
I love the Loved One visit.
By Fiji Airways.
Yeah, I don't know why people did it like that.
Because it took away from the gameplay, and that made that whole tribal council kind of confusing.
Yeah, that whole episode
was worth it.
Like,
it was worth it.
Wasn't that the Sophie boot?
No, that was the Tyson boot.
Tyson. Oh, right.
Yeah.
I mean, still a good blindside, I think.
I
remember being shocked by the photo.
Yeah, me too.
And I mean, the Loved One stuff was amazing, and then just the jury like hugging Jeff at the end.
Yeah, that was.
Oh, yes. I also really liked that. People like didn't like that, and I was like, "How do you not enjoy that?
Why?
It's 10 seconds. Calm down, people."
It's awesome.
Yeah,
it's just them showing
good.
Thank you. Like,
exactly.
Survivors change their lives, so why not?
It's real.
Jeff?
For sure. I am.
And then just seeing Rob and Amber's kids too. That was pretty cool.
Oh my god, yeah.
Well, we've seen them a lot in season 58. Don't worry.
Oh, dude, imagine.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
as soon as they turn
Survivor
16.
season 60. the kids of the legends.
Can you imagine that? We can get who was Cerie's kid who was on Game Changers for a bit?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, he's already old enough, isn't he?
I actually heard that he was a finalist for one of the seasons recently to get on, but
Really?
I think he was a finalist in David versus Goliath, but I think they either didn't take him or he dropped out.
As long as Katie Collins comes back for that.
Oh my goodness.
Oh hell yeah.
I love Katie.
I like Katie. Okay. Is there any other points that we should discuss before we kind of close this off?
I have one thing I wanted to bring up.
Go for it.
Okay.
So as I was watching Tony get the win, it occurred to me that this may be a controversial statement, but I think physical game is important to win Survivor. And I include physical game. I include like fire making, and I include like providing food and stuff, and being able to catch food as part of it, not just challenges.
Mm-hmm.
And there are people who will say, "Oh, like if you're good enough, you can just convince people to take you to the end, no matter how big of a threat you are." And like that's fine, but that's not how the normal seasons go. Normally, there's one player who just becomes too big of a threat to where everyone wants to vote them out. So you're going to get to a point where you usually have to win and be able to win at least one or two challenges. And that's why I feel like physical game is really important to win Survivor. And I feel like Tony's win proved that because he had to make fire. He had to win Final 5 immunity or he was going to go home. And he was playing a phenomenal game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the point I wanted to make.
I think
I agree.
the thing about that is I think strategic and social game can be done without needing a physical game, and you can still win. I think if you only have a physical game, there's a good chance you won't, that you can't win.
Okay. Yeah, no, I agree. Physical game is not what gets you the jury votes, but many times it's essential to getting you to the end.
I agree.
Sure. And for some people it does get you jury votes, but it's if you don't have any social game, like it's gonna come back to bite you. I mean, look at fucking Culpepper.
I 100% agree with you.
I will say that I agree with that. And if you look at probably the two closest final tribals of all time, Australia and Cook Islands, the strategic social player ended up just barely beating out the physical player.
Yep.
But I mean, Ozzy and Colby are incredible, and I mean they're great players. But I think the strategic social is just slightly. I mean, not slightly, much more important. But yeah,
right. No, the strategic and social game gets you the jury votes.
Ozzy and Colby were right there, and they were both physical players. So
yeah, same with. I mean, that's recent though too. That was Triple H, because Chrissy won 5, and the thing is,
4.
The jury only sees. The jury only sees the necklace. They don't see the win. So when you're doing shenanigans at tribal, it's so much more impactful than seeing you wear a necklace.
Yeah.
True. I'm surprised we made it an hour through this episode, and not once did we get John doing a Boston Rob impression.
Hey, I'm sorry, man. I guess I got distracted today.
Yeah. I couldn't be on the Zoom call for the reunion.
Am I the only one?
Thank God there's no reunion.
Sorry, Probst.
Yeah, sorry, Probst.
I guess you just have to fly me out for another season so I can be on another reunion. What can I say?
Or you'll just see me in the audience. I thought about saying something in the Rob voice, but I think it might be too offensive for modern day.
I think something that, I'm really glad there wasn't a reunion. I'm really glad instead we got 3 hours of real content. Sure. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for the reunions just because of how many stories. But I guess I feel like the reunion was kind of done at the end of the Edge challenge.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I guess it's kind of a replacement.
I agree with both of you guys because I am a huge reunion show fan. But I also feel like the reunion the last 10 seasons has been horrible. So I just feel like in the recent reunions, it's just Jeff talking to 3 players. It's only 20 minutes. And it just doesn't feel
and then Sia
useful.
comes in.
Yeah. And Sia.
Okay. Speaking of the Edge challenge, what was one thing that first off, I was there, I would have recommended this, but one thing I was kind of hoping that they would do at the Edge challenge, even whenever somebody wins, everybody still has to finish it. I think that would have been a cool story moment for everybody to finish their last Survivor challenge, you know?
That would have been cool.
I think that would have been cool.
But I feel like even if they did do that, they probably wouldn't have shown it on TV.
Maybe not, yeah.
I mean, they might have actually done that, but I don't think that would have been important enough to the storyline of the season that the editors would have kept it in.
Sure.
And I don't think some people would have cared. I think Tyson says I don't care. I think Wendell says I don't care. I'll be back.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean Wendell's totally coming back.
Oh, I believe Wendell, but Tyson?
Yeah, I think Tyson doesn't care to finish the challenge.
No, I meant like he would come back.
Tyson coming back? I don't know. I think he's done.
I think he's done. I
He
think
might be like a mentor with Parvati in like Island of the Idols 2 or something.
I think they put Tony up there.
Yeah, it's true.
Tony and Lucina.
Oh God.
Tony and
fun.
Lucina.
Um.
I hope neither of them ever come back again.
True.
I don't think they will.
I feel like their storyline is complete, and I don't think that. I mean, as much as
At least not together.
I'm never gonna say no to more Tony.
Sure.
True.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
Tony spelled backwards is why not, so why not bring him back?
fair. And Flacco spelled backwards is so calv. I don't know. That wasn't funny.
There was one thing I did want to. You asked for last thoughts.
Oh yeah.
Michelle's flip was not a flip. It was like a frisbee toss. All right. I play plenty of frisbee, and the way that she flipped it was like so simple. I was like, this. It had like one rotation, and I'm like, I'm so shocked that Jeff was okay with that.
Wait, when?
What are you
When
talking
she had the
about?
50-50 coin.
Oh.
Oh yeah, sorry.
yeah, okay.
I should have said that.
Yeah, I guess it was
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
a toss, wasn't it?
Yeah, it had like one rotation, so she was like practicing that for sure.
Yeah.
And I guess it doesn't matter, but I just thought that was really
the
weird.
production knew the votes wouldn't matter, so they're like, all right, we'll allow it.
Yeah.
Speaking of Michelle, though, can we talk about her pathetic challenge performance with the trying to catch the ball?
That was
Yeah.
so fascinating.
That
How
was-
it seemed like some challenges she's totally sucked at, and other ones that she totally rocked.
She's good at the endurance ones, and she's
It
bad
depends.
at like all physical ones. I
It
feel like
depends on if she needs the challenge to stay in the game or not.
That's true.
That's a good point.
All right.
Although, credit to her, I am a huge Mish Fitz fan because of this.
You mean
I don't want that to
Winchell
be my
Fitz legend?
So yeah, I don't want that to be my last word. Michelle, if
Um,
you ever, I love you.
Yo,
Not as much as Anna, but you're
before
close.
before we hop to
Anna,
draft,
oh my
I have
God,
a
Anna's the
question.
worst. Oh, what's up?
Well, it's more of like a trivia puzzle joke question.
Okay.
What do the final 5 immunity challenge and Wendell have in common?
They
What?
both fucked Michelle over.
No, Michelle kicked it.
Oh. Oh yeah, I saw. That's what you're talking about.
Stolen from the internet. I'm ready to talk about draft.
That's a good. Okay. So I will concede when it came to drafting, I kind of dropped off on the hours when it came to like keeping up with episode by episode because we weren't really talking about it as much. But I do have the final totals. I will say, looking at it though, it was really close for a while.
For a while.
Like there was a lot of back and forth. But finale's here, so we have the final results. I'm gonna let you guys everyone guess who you think won.
I did not win. My guess
I
would
did
be
not
John.
win either.
My guess would be John.
I think
but
John won too.
Kyle has a chance. It's one of those.
I
two.
had 2 finalists, but I don't think that was enough. I feel like Kyle pulled it out.
All right. So, in 4th place, with 139 draft points,
Oh
was Chris's Villanapos.
no! I stopped checking as soon as my team was getting sniped all in pre-merge.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I'm done. Because I had 4 people go pre-merge.
Yep. You had Jeremy go the long way, and then Natalie
Not
came back.
really. I
Like
mean,
said,
Jeremy got like 8.
yeah. So
Chris, stick to SOQ drafting.
Hey, I have the most successful franchise in SOQ history. So.
Natalie in one episode earned 27 draft points.
Hey,
Idle spam.
Yeah. And just coming back from Edge and all that
Yeah.
garbage, you know.
See, Breyer laughs at that. He gets that done in like an hour.
Yeah, seriously.
Breyer can get 27 draft points in like 15 minutes.
Christ. So, in 3rd place with 174 draft points is Zach Zalids.
Yeah, the Zesty Zalids.
The Zesty Zalids.
I think I lost all my people in early post-merge.
Your last competitor was
Ben,
Nick.
I believe, right?
Nick.
Oh, Nick.
Yeah.
I didn't have Ben, right?
No, you didn't have Ben.
Yeah. No, I lost, I think, Kim, Sophie, and someone else, like 3 votes in a row. And I was like, shit, I'm out. And Nick,
Kim,
right? It was
Sophie,
those 3.
Nick, yeah.
Yeah, so.
I think there's someone in between there, but I can't. Jeremy.
Jeremy, yeah.
And now with the final 2, it was very close for a while, and the final result ended up being 190 points for second place to 240.
Ooh.
So the winner of the Winners at War Hangout Survivor Discord draft is John Super Smash Survivors.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hey.
It was fucking like by episode 12, I was at 154 and you were at 140. And then then the next one was the Tony episode, and then just
I remember I was like in last place or something, and I was like, I'm done. When we got to the merge, I had like Tony, Michelle, and Ben. I'm like, it's over.
Yeah. I had Denise, who had the idol play. I had Sarah, Lucina, and Wendell.
You were ahead like the whole game, Kyle.
I was for a while.
You were in the lead the whole time, and then John surpassed you right at the end there with Tony.
Actually, it's pretty close because I only I stopped calculating episode by episode at episode 6, and it was 15 with Chris, and then 25 with Zach, 23 with me, and 23 with John. And then by episode 12, it was 101, 143, 154, 140. So we were all really close for the whole time. If you want to see what happened on my family's,
didn't you do terrible?
I did terrible, dude. Natalie coming back brought me to 3rd place though.
Oh really?
It
Can't
was
relate.
95 points, 88 points, 98 points, and then 195 and 238.
Oh my God.
That was my dad and my uncle. And I'm like,
Yeah,
their teams are stacked though. I mean, my uncle had Michelle, Sarah, and Tony and Adam.
Okay, wow.
And then my dad had
damn.
Nick, Ben, Denise, and Yule. So, yikes.
That first team is loaded.
Oh, you want to hear my team? Danny, Parvati, Kim, and Natalie?
Nice.
Natalie and Kim get you something.
Yeah, but I had 3 pre-merge snipes.
Get
Kim
you
was my
something,
only
son.
one left.
Yeah.
It was brutal. But it was fun. I kept telling them, I'm like, look, if anyone's going to lose tremendously, it might as well be the one who put the most effort into this. All right. So I think with that, that's going to conclude the Winners at War Idle Swordcast. That does not conclude the Idle Swordcast, however.
No.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, stay
We'll
tuned.
We should
We'll
come
make
up
some
with something.
content.
Yeah.
yeah, let us know. I think something cool would be, if you're still listening to this, thank you, and
Yes, for
to
sure.
ask us or send us questions, things you want us to talk about, whether it's regular Survivor, SOQ. We might just have a whole episode of answering questions.
For
They
sure.
could be real. They could be
All the
memes.
viewers are like, what the heck is SOQ?
Until we get zero questions because nobody listened to this far.
They're this
That's
far.
fine. Here,
I
you know
know
what?
we have at least
You know
one.
what? If you listen, I'll tell you what. If you listen to it this far and you were in the comments, I want you to comment. What should they comment?
Nice.
Damn,
Nice.
John
Nice.
had a great draft.
Nice job. You just
Yeah.
Nice.
we should comment.
Just nice. Just nice.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Nice. All
Nice.
over.
Oh, I was making fun of Kyle. I mean, that works.
What were you making fun of me?
I was just because you're because you're trying to think of a word. You had all this build up, and then you're just
No.
"Soik."
Okay. So I was gonna say the thing that I was gonna say in my Rob impression, but I still think it's too offensive, so I don't want to say it.
Say it once we're off air.
We'll do.
Oh no.
But no. So yeah, let us know. I'm actually, if you're on our Discord, I'm gonna probably make a channel where we can discuss it. Also, we might bring guests on every now and then. That
Matt
could be
and
cool. So if you're interested, either if you're an SOQ player like us, or if you're, I don't know, a former Survivor player and you're listening to this somehow, hit us up, But yeah, thank you so much for your patience, for watching. Thank you for all the support. I mean, my little YouTube channel blew up because of this thing. So
Hey.
Yeah, I might make a new channel for this though, but we'll see. Anyway, thank you guys. Any parting words, fellas?
Stay big, Survivor fans.
Why do you keep saying that at the end of every episode?
Wait, do I actually say that at the end of every
You've
episode?
said that 3 times. Stay based.
Oh. No, I said stay big, not stay based.
Oh, okay.
I changed my brand.
Oh, gotcha.
Watch out for a quick Mafia City win from me.
Yeah, and yeah. Season 41, we'll see what the hell happens. Because I don't think anybody's know what's gonna happen, so that'll be fun.
Watch it.
Yeah, keep it real, guys.
See you guys. Bye.